Throughout history, power has worn many faces, but none more captivating than the woman who uses seduction not as a weakness, but as a weapon. Let us begin in ancient Egypt, where Cleopatra reigned not just as queen, but as a master of political seduction. Fluent in 9 languages and educated in philosophy, astronomy, and medicine, Cleopatra was not merely beautiful, she was brilliant. When Julius Caesar entered Alexandria in pursuit of his enemy, Cleopatra had herself smuggled into his quarters rolled in a carpet. That single dramatic gesture began one of the most influential relationships in Roman history. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra secured her throne and bore him a son. After Caesar's assassination, she shifted her affections to Mark Antony, captivating him with lavish banquets and intellectual debates. Their alliance was both passionate and strategic, nearly reshaping the Roman Empire. Her seduction of 2 of Rome's most powerful men was not about romance. It was survival, sovereignty, and legacy. In the court of France's King Louis XIII, another woman mastered the balance between allure and influence. Madame de Pompadour. Born Jeanne-Antoinette Poisson, she was not of noble blood, but she became the king's official chief mistress. More than a lover, she became his advisor, patron of the arts, and a political influencer behind the scenes. She positioned her allies in powerful court roles and helped shape French culture and policy for over 20 years. Her charm was not fleeting, it was institutionalized. Even after their romantic relationship ended, she remained his closest confidant. Her legacy was not in scandal, it was in stability, achieved through grace, wit, and tactical softness. Back in Renaissance Italy, Lucrezia Borgia became a symbol of beauty wrapped in danger. As the daughter of Pope Alexander VI, she was married off repeatedly to secure political alliances for the Vatican. Rumors of poison, assassinations, and forbidden liaisons swirled around her like perfume. Whether or not those tales were true, Lucrezia knew how to play the courtly game. She transformed from pawn to player, governing Ferrara in her own right, and winning over even her fiercest critics with poise and charity. Her strength lay in reputation, dangerous, mysterious, impossible to ignore. Let us now step into the 20th century with Wallis Simpson, the American socialite who brought the British monarchy to its knees. Twice divorced and politically controversial, Wallis captured the heart of King Edward VIII. Despite pressure from the government, the church, and his own family, Edward abdicated the throne in 1936 to marry her. It was the first time in British history that love was chosen over the crown. While Wallis was often painted as a villain, her story reveals the seismic power of attraction in a world bound by tradition. Her presence redefined royal duty and reshaped the future of the monarchy. Next, we meet Eva Perón, known as Evita, whose rise from poverty to Argentina's first lady captivated a nation. Eva was a radio actress when she met Colonel Juan Perón. Their romance was immediate, but so was her influence. She became his fiercest advocate, delivering impassioned speeches and orchestrating support from unions and the working class. Her style, lavish, glamorous, and unapologetically feminine, turned her into a living icon. Behind that style was strategic control of public image and political capital. She led massive social welfare campaigns, shaped labor policy, and fought for women's suffrage in Argentina. Eva seduced not just Perón, but an entire country. In post-revolutionary Haiti, Marie-Louise Couy-David, wife of King Henri Christophe, used her elegance and presence to stabilize a nation haunted by colonial trauma. While her husband ruled with force, Marie-Louise was his diplomatic counterbalance. Foreign emissaries described her grace, composure, and skillful negotiation. Her ability to soften her husband's brutal reputation helped Haiti gain a fragile but vital respect from other nations. She was not crowned with power. She wore it like perfume, subtly shifting the air in every room she entered. In Soviet Russia, Mata Hari remains one of the most controversial figures of World War I. Born Margaretha Zell, she was a Dutch exotic dancer who captivated generals, diplomats, and spies across Europe. Officially, she was an entertainer. Secretly, she was accused of being a double agent, seducing high-ranking officials to gather intelligence. Whether she truly betrayed anyone remains debated, but her execution by the French in 1917 turned her into a legend. Her power was perception. She understood the male gaze, leaned into it, and weaponized it to access places few women, or men, ever could. We now enter the world of Hollywood and diplomacy with Josephine Baker, the African-American dancer who rose to fame in 1920s Paris. Born Margaretha Zell, she was a Dutch exotic dancer who captivated generals, diplomats, and spies across Europe. She was not just an entertainer, but a resistance agent. During World War II, Josephine used her celebrity to carry secret messages across enemy lines, hidden in sheet music and lingerie. She seduced audiences, generals, and bureaucrats alike, all while working for the French resistance. Her fame disarmed suspicion. Her beauty became her camouflage. And her charm? That was her sharpest blade. As the Cold War unfolded, Jackie Kennedy became a new kind of power icon, soft-spoken, elegant, and politically magnetic. As First Lady of the United States, she represented more than fashion or style. She redefined diplomacy itself. On state visits, world leaders were disarmed by her grace and intelligence. When she visited Charles de Gaulle in France, reporters joked that the president was simply tagging along with her. Behind closed doors, she wielded influence with charm, steering conversations, influencing staff picks, and refining America's image during a time of tension and transformation. Her seduction was not scandalous. It was strategic, subtle, and profound. Meanwhile, Imelda Marcos of the Philippines dazzled the public with diamonds, designer shoes, and disarming charm, all while wielding immense power behind her husband, President Ferdinand Marcos. Known for her beauty and extravagance, Imelda was no mere figurehead. She appointed ministers, brokered deals, and led massive infrastructure projects. Her seduction was public, performative, and deeply entwined with nationalism. Crowds adored her, even as critics warned of corruption. The paradox of her legacy lies in how she used her glamour to mask political influence, and how long that strategy worked. One of the most enigmatic modern examples is Princess Diana, who began as a shy young woman married into the British royal family, but evolved into a global humanitarian and media icon. Her emotional openness, fashion choices, and public vulnerability made her a worldwide phenomenon. But behind that image was a sophisticated manipulation of public narrative. Diana used her interviews, gestures, and even silences to challenge royal tradition and regain control of her life story. She shifted global conversations about AIDS, landmines, and mental health. Her power was not only in her image, it was in reclaiming it. Closer to today, Melania Trump entered the White House under intense scrutiny. A former model, fluent in 5 languages, she kept a reserved public presence. But her few statements, like the infamous, "I really do not care, do you?" jacket, sparked massive media storms. Whether intentional or reactive, Melania mastered the modern art of enigmatic seduction. Her silence created more headlines than speeches. Her detached posture invited curiosity and speculation, making her an unpredictable variable in a chaotic presidency. She showed how mystery itself could become power. Then we look to Angela Merkel, a different kind of seduction, one of restraint, consistency, and quiet command. Known as the Iron Lady of Europe, Merkel rose from the scientific community to become Germany's longest-serving chancellor. She rarely leaned on traditional femininity. Instead, she seduced the political world with stoicism, calm reasoning, and data-driven leadership. In a world of chaos and spectacle, her refusal to be dramatic made her magnetic. She brokered international deals, stabilized the European Union, and reshaped Germany's global role, all while underestimators found themselves caught in her calm current. One cannot ignore Aung San Suu Kyi of Myanmar, once celebrated as a beacon of peaceful resistance. Under house arrest for years, she became a global symbol of dignity and democracy. Her serene composure, flowered hair, and soft-spoken interviews captivated the world. Suu Kyi seduced with the strength of stillness, bringing international pressure that helped move her country toward elections. While her later years in power sparked criticism, her initial rise was a masterclass in how moral elegance can shift the tides of tyranny. In the tech age, seduction goes digital, and Kim Yo-jong, sister of North Korea's Kim Jong-un, plays the role of a mysterious power broker. Appearing rarely and speaking even less, she rose rapidly in the regime. When she attended the 2018 Winter Olympics, analysts were stunned by her calm demeanor, cool glances, and sudden dominance of press cycles. She was not just a figurehead. She reportedly oversees propaganda operations and is rumored to be second in command. Her seduction is cold, calculated, and modern, a signal of how female power now blends image, strategy, and psychological warfare. Meanwhile, Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand flipped traditional power seduction by doubling down on empathy. When she led during the Christchurch mosque attacks, her hijab-wearing, tear-filled presence touched millions. She seduced through sincerity, and it worked. Her pandemic response, communication style, and policy execution elevated her global profile. She redefined leadership not through dominance or mystique, but emotional intelligence. It was no less seductive. It was simply evolved. In Iran, Masih Alinejad fights tyranny not with weapons, but with hair. Her viral campaign, Against My Stealthy Freedom, encouraged Iranian women to remove their mandatory hijabs on camera. Her fearless beauty, wild curls, and unwavering voice made her a global icon of resistance. Seduction, in her hands, was an act of revolution. She turned femininity into defiance, and that power could not be censored. To close this journey, let us not forget Kamala Harris, the first female vice president of the United States. Her presence shattered barriers, but her rise was not accidental. With a prosecutor's poise and a politician's polish, she climbed each rung carefully. Her smile, her laughter, her sharp debate lines, each carefully calibrated. She does not seduce with mystery or glamour, but with relentless confidence. The way she entered the Senate floor, interrogated witnesses, and took the national stage. It was strategic allure, calculated, bold, and deliberate. Seduction in politics is not about beauty alone. From Cleopatra's rolled carpet to Jacinda's calm compassion, the most seductive political moves in history were never just about love or lust. They were about reshaping the world through power that was never supposed to belong to them. And they took it anyway. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please follow, like, and share this episode. More is coming.